In the heart of the whispering woods, where the ferns grow as tall as umbrellas, lived a dung beetle named Barnaby. While other insects spent their days flitting from flower to flower, Barnaby had a singular, monumental task. He had found a fallen, sun-ripened plum. To Barnaby, this wasn't just fruit, it was a winter's worth of food for his family, tucked away in their burrow at the peak of the great sandy hill. Barnaby braced his hind legs against the plum. It was heavy, cool, and slick with juice. With a mighty heave, he began to push. He made it 3 feet up the sandy slope, his tiny heart drumming against his shell. But the sand was treacherous. A single grain gave way, and the plum began to roll. Barnaby tumbled head over heels, landing in a dusty heap at the bottom. "Giving up already?" chirped a grasshopper, perched safely on a blade of grass. "That hill is too steep for a fellow with such short legs." Barnaby didn't answer. He stood up, shook the dust from his wings, and walked back to the plum. The second try was better. Barnaby found a rhythm. Push, step, breathe. Push, step, breathe. He was halfway up when the sky turned the color of a bruised grape. A sudden summer downpour transformed the dry sand into slick, heavy mud. Barnaby strained, his legs trembling with exhaustion, but the mud was like grease. The plum slid sideways, pinned Barnaby against a root, and then broke free, crashing back down into the tall grass below. Barnaby sat in the rain, shivering. His muscles ached, and the peak of the hill looked miles away. He thought about the warm burrow. He thought about how easy it would be to just find a smaller snack and call it a day. But Barnaby looked at the plum and then at the hill. He realized that sheer strength wasn't enough. He needed a plan. He noticed that the rain had washed away the loose sand in one particular area, revealing a line of jagged pebbles. "If I use the rocks as a ladder," he whispered to himself, "the plum won't slide." He gathered a few sturdy pine needles and tucked them under the plum to create friction. Slowly, methodically, he began his third climb. Every time he felt the plum wobble, he jammed a pine needle into the earth to lock it in place. He used the pebbles as footholds, bracing himself against the very obstacles that had tripped him up before. The triumph. The sun began to peek through the clouds, turning the wet forest into a shimmering kingdom of gold. With one final agonizing shove, Barnaby felt the ground level out. He had reached the top. The grasshopper, who had watched the whole ordeal from below, flew up and landed nearby. "I didn't think you'd make it," he admitted, hushed. Barnaby looked at his family, who were emerging from the burrow with wide, excited eyes. He wasn't tired anymore. "I didn't make it because I was the strongest. I made it because I refused to stay down."